Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Week 6 waiver wire video. We're almost at the halfway point of the season, and I just wanted to give you guys some ads off waivers for this week, ranked at every single position. Let's go to the bye weeks really quick. Only two teams on bye this week, the Packers and Steelers. Okay, let's go to the quarterbacks to add. We actually do have some good names. I think the biggest surprise that jumps out to me is Dak Prescott. Trying not to overreact. He's a good quarterback, not a great one. Also a disappointing one for sure, and was exposed by the 49ers. But still, we have a high-scoring game, very high-scoring game, possible shootout against the Chargers. So if you do need a quarterback to stream this week, I don't know, realistic situation, maybe you have Jordan Love or Pickett in a super flex league, or I don't know, maybe your quarterback is Anthony Richardson or something. Dak Prescott's going to make for a great streaming option. We still have doubts for him moving forward, so I don't know if that's the long-term solution. Probably is not, but this week I like him. And number one, though, we have Matthew Stafford. He's got Cooper Kupp back. He looks great, and he's going up against the Cardinals. They won't be able to stop the Rams offense, and of course Stafford is more trustworthy than Dak Prescott. So we have those two options, and then we have Sam Howell. Didn't start off too hot in the beginning of the season, but now looks pretty good, and his matchups aren't too bad. Falcons, Giants, Eagles. Sure, the Falcons defense isn't horrible, and the Eagles D seems really scary and fearsome, but they're not really all that great. They do kind of have these shootout games to where the Eagles defense is good and the team is really good, but not necessarily shutting down teams or anything like that. The Eagles defense, that is. Okay, and after that, don't really worry too much about the rankings. Those are kind of the three guys I really would add realistically, but we have some other options. Dolphins defense, not great, but their offense is the absolute hottest, absolute lava, plasma. They're just on fire this year, so teams do have to play catch up and throw the ball and score a lot. So Bryce Young going against the Dolphins, not that bad. Like, it's kind of a surprise that he's on this list, and he's really not that much better than the next five guys on the list. So it's pretty close between like the number 4 guy and number 9 guy. But we do have Bryce Young going against the Dolphins. Russell Wilson going up against the Chiefs. He'll put up his usual like 15 to 20 fantasy points. Joshua Dobbs, he's okay. Gardner Minshew. Anthony Richardson's going to miss multiple weeks, it seems like. And we have Desmond Ridder, who finally didn't have a crappy game. Actually played well week 5. And we have Baker Mayfield coming off a bye week. For running backs, the number 1 running back is going to be Roschon Johnson. I think that Jeff Wilson is getting overhyped way too much. I like him. He's valuable. He needs to be rostered. Yeah, I mean, all that, yes. But as far as him like magically replacing Raheem Mostert or something like that, I don't see it. He still has to beat out, God, I think his name is Chris Brooks. Sorry, that's stupid of me not to know names, but I do my best. I'm not good with names, and I'm still learning after 15 years. But there is a rookie running back, I think, on the Dolphins. I think his name is Chris Brooks. He's kind of Chris Brooks is ahead of Salvin Ahmed. Hopefully I got his name right. So he still has to beat all these guys, right? We know A-Chain's going to likely be out for multiple weeks. Could be on IR. We'll see. We'll need more information on that. But as of right now, Raheem Mostert is the number 1 back. And then after him, it's a revolving situation. We don't know yet who it's going to be. I think it will be Jeff Wilson, but I don't think Jeff Wilson is like, it's not going to be like a RB1, RB1A, RB1B situation. I think Jeff Wilson will be the RB2. So again, I do like him. I think he's worth an ad. He could be worth spending a waiver claim on. He could be worth spending a little bit of FAB on for sure. I would. But other than that, he's not like an absolute must add where you got to spend 100% of your remaining FAB or anything like that. Now, Roschon Johnson is. Khalil Herbert is going to likely be out. Now, Roschon Johnson is hurt himself. He has a concussion, though. So what I'm projecting is that Roschon Johnson will be back right away, won't miss much time, if any time at all. And I think Khalil Herbert might miss like a couple weeks. And so he will be the starting running back for the Bears. His only competition will be my number 11 guy here, D'Onta Foreman, who's been a healthy scratch all but week 1. And then we have Tyjae Spears, who is getting really concerning here with Derrick Henry's snap count. We finally see Tyjae Spears outscore Derrick Henry, so that is very concerning. But that makes Spears better than I thought. I was like, look, he's worth roster space, but he's not really going to get you a lot of fantasy points. It's kind of a low upside guy, but hey, he's pretty talented, and he is getting opportunities on a team that loves to use the running back position. James Conner headed to IR. That is not good. I don't know too much, or I didn't know too much about this rookie prospect, Amari Demarcado, but he looked solid. And I don't really like Keontae Ingram, who's hurt right now and was the RB2. So this guy's probably the best running back the Cardinals have. So he's worth an add. We already talked about Jeff Wilson. And then we have this messy situation with the Ravens. They use 2, 3, 4 running backs. You know what? I probably should have added... I keep forgetting to add Keaton Mitchell to this list. Definitely worth a stash. We talked about him several times, but keep forgetting to put him on here. I'm just going to put him on here. Definitely worth a stash, as he could be the starting running back. Talk about Justice Hill all the time. He's got talent. He's got speed, but he does a lot of stupid things. He fumbles. He doesn't read the hole. I don't know. He's just, Zach Charbonnet, he keeps getting work, but he is definitely the RB2 on the Seahawks. Jaleel McLaughlin, huge fan of his, but right now he's only worth a roster spot in deeper leagues. Javonte Williams expected to be back really soon, probably will be back week 6. And then we have Kendre Miller, Chuba Hubbard, D'Onta Foreman, probably won't be a healthy scratch anymore. But I'm just going to write right here, Keaton Mitchell. There we go. I think I spelled his name right. I always forget. I always forget to add him, and I'm stupid. All right. Then we have Cam Akers could have been dropped. Craig Reynolds is the backup running back if Jahmyr Gibbs misses any more time. And then we have Jordan Mason because CMC's injury prone, and Eli Mitchell is even more injury prone, and he's actually injured right now. For wide receivers, honestly, the rankings do not matter. That's why it's probably not worth spending up on a wide receiver if a lot of these guys are available. The difference between number 1 and number 5 and frankly number 10 or 11 is almost no difference at all. The Vikings just said that they will not be rushing back Justin Jefferson, so KJ Osborne's going to be a every down wide receiver. He's going to be involved in every single snap. He'll get a lot more targets on a team that loves to throw the ball and has to. Jonathan Mingo, he's kind of like the speculative ad. Like, you can't really start him, but I'm a huge fan of him as a prospect, so I do like rostering him. Tyler Boyd is definitely worth starting or thinking about starting, worth adding if Higgins misses any more time. Josh Reynolds is basically the number 1 wide receiver on the lines other than their tight end, Sam Laporta. Josh Downs, Quentin Johnston. He's kind of like Jonathan Mingo. You want to add him, and hopefully he gets more snaps and more targets now that the bye week is over, which I think will happen. And Josh Palmer, kind of overhyped too. Oh, he's the number 1 receiver, number 2 wide receiver for the Chargers, but it's really not black and white like that. QJ might take his job really soon. And Tutu Atwell still has a role on this offense. The Rams just traded away Van Jefferson to the Falcons, by the way. So Tutu Atwell, he's the number 3 option on this passing offense for the Rams. Then we have JSN. I expect him to get more involved now that his wrist is likely fully healed and they just had a bye week. Curtis Samuel seems to be the best wide receiver on the Commanders and makes me feel stupid and makes me feel very sad that I got everything wrong about the Commanders. I hate this team. I will always hate this team, but as of now, we're looking at the number one wide receiver for the Commanders. Who would have thought? And I do not like Rashee Rice, but he's still worth an ad, or is still worth putting on this list at the very least. Like, he's getting touchdowns, and he has probably the best quarterback in the league. That's got to amount for something. And here's one of my favorite, like, deep league underdog guys I root for. Can't even really call him a sleeper, but Trenton Irwin. I really liked him a couple years ago. When given the opportunities, he looks great. He does have an elite quarterback throwing him the ball. So I like him, but he's usually buried in the depth chart behind guys like Higgins and Jamar Chase. He did better than Tyler Boyd, though. That's something there. For tight ends, we actually do have some, and the top two options are going to be Dalton Schultz and Logan Thomas. You know what? I'm going to throw in Jake Ferguson there too, because we just talked about that high-scoring game that's going to happen, the shootout that's going to happen in Week 5. Luke Musgrave, I would rank higher, but he's on bye. Gerald Everett gets a huge boost, and I was talking about Everett as in, like, look, don't draft this guy. He sucks, but if any of these Chargers wide receivers get hurt, Everett gets a huge boost, and Mike Williams is out for the year. We also have Tyler Conklin, Jonnu Smith, Chick Okonkwo, Cade Otton, Noah Fant, and my favorite sleeper rookie tight end in Dynasty, Michael Mayer. We've seen him get a lot more involved, and he's looking better. He's really learning this position in the NFL. Like, he's a traditional tight end, and he'll just keep getting better and better. He might be a year 2 breakout guy, and I did want to throw him in there. Obviously, as you get further down this list, like these last 3-4 guys are more drops than anything, but I did want to provide some more tight ends like I always do for people who are in deeper leagues or in deep tight end premium leagues or something like that. Did want to kind of exhaust the list of tight ends, not just people that are in regular 10-team and 12-team leagues. For defenses, look, I'm not going to include the Bills, the Eagles, and Niners D because they're rostered in like 90% of leagues or nearly 100% of leagues, and they all have good matchups. So those guys are elite starts, and they need to be rostered in every league for sure. But other than those guys, we do have the Dolphins going against the Panthers. Now, they're probably already rostered, but I think it's more like 80-85%. So maybe there's a small chance they're still available. They had a good matchup last week, and they performed well. Chiefs D going against the Broncos. That's good. Ravens D in a low-scoring game against the Titans. Rams D against the Cardinals. And, man, this is really all because of James Conner. He's really good, and it's going to hurt the Cardinals a little bit, I'm thinking. That he's going to be out. And then we got the Saints D against the Texans. That should be a low-scoring game. Falcons D against the Commanders. Lions D against the Bucks. Bucks don't score too many points. And we have the Texans D on the other side. It's kind of a deeper league. We're already in deep league territory here. Jags D, Raiders D going against the Patriots. Browns D going against the Niners. Could be a low-scoring game there. And in super duper deep leagues, we have the Vikings D against the Bears. I would not recommend this. You know what? Might as well just, we probably could just delete this off the list, but I did want to give, more names in case the Bears offense falls off back to how it was the first 2 weeks. Jake Moody for kickers, Brett Maher, Brandon Aubrey, Jason Sanders, Cameron Dicker. Those 5 are great. Okay, so those are the 5 that we do want for a kicker. Not a big difference between those 5. I think you can get one. Cameron Dicker, I do like the situation he's in. He's good, but he's not super elite, and the Chargers kicker usually doesn't do well. I know they used to go for it a lot on 4th down and stuff like that, and maybe I don't know exactly what it is, maybe 2-point conversions or their defense just never really comes through. Whatever the case is, the Chargers kicker, like, I never really see him as a super elite kicker, but this week I do like him, and he's a good backup plan if you can't get a guy like Jake Moody or Brett Maher. Cammy Fairbairn, not necessarily a great matchup, but he's really talented, and the Texans are a much better team. They have some hope this year, so he's just a good kicker to have, and you can kind of start him every week. And if you can't get any of those guys and you're in a really deep league, Brandon McManus is okay. And that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do answer every single question. So if you have a fantasy football question, drop a YouTube comment. I'll read it and respond to it. Also, make sure you subscribe to our second YouTube channel. That one's called Fantasy Couch Podcast. So please subscribe to that one as well. Also subscribe to this one, of course. All right, guys. I'll see you on the next video tomorrow night, Wednesday night. Hack My Lineup live stream. So see you there.